Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you live from the Emirates Stadium press box. Arsenal looking to make it 5 wins out of 5 today, taking on Aston Villa here at the Emirates. Team news is in. If you haven't seen it already, I'm sure you have, but you haven't. There's just one change for Arsenal from the team that beat Fulham, or the starting 11 that beat Fulham at the weekend. So Lokonga, as expected, he comes in, and Mohamed Al-Nani injured, obviously he misses out, and that's it. It's a bit of a surprise. I thought we might see a few more changes. I thought Smith Rowe might come in, for example. I thought Tomiyasu might come in, but Mikel's gone with the team that's pretty much stuck with since the start of the season, apart from the injuries that have obviously happened recently. And yeah, with Man United to come on Sunday, it's a little bit of a surprise. I thought he might rotate things a little bit today, but no, it's still very, very strong. Aston Villa side, if you're interested, is Martinez obviously in goal. The return to the Emirates. Matt Cash, Konza, Mings, McGinn, Buendia, Watkins, Digne, Bailey, Ramsey, and Kamara. So people like Ashley Young, Philip Coutinho, Callum Chambers, Danny Ings, all on the bench for Villa tonight. So Steven Gerrard's made a few changes after their disappointing start to the season. Right, hold on. You've had enough of me now. Let's flick over, shall we? Show you what's going on here. The warm-ups are underway. The Arsenal players are out. They're the subs closest to us that you see at the moment. The substitutes for Arsenal. Matt Smith. Remember him, Matt Smith, FA Cup winner Matt Smith. He is on the bench today. And the rest of the subs, Matt Turner, Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Holding, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Vieira, Marquinhos, and Matt Smith. So they're the Arsenal subs today. Liam asked, Xhaka, Holding or Sambi? Yeah, it's we were talking about that just now down in the press box. It's going to be quite interesting to see. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think we'll probably get a better idea of that when the team start going through their pre-match routine. Once they've done the warm-up over there, they'll start doing their pre-match routine. I think we'll get a better look at exactly how they're going to be lining up. But we were talking down in the press room and thinking, is he going to go more of a flat 2 in midfield rather than asking Sambi to play as a deep sort of holding player on his own? Because he's done that towards the end of last season, struggled. It's like, is he going to try that again, or is he going to give Sambi a little bit of support and play him and Granit a lot closer together and just play a straight 4-2-3-1? Interesting to see. Zinko, Zed there asking about Zinchenko. I think it's just precautionary. He's very, very close. He was training yesterday, Zinchenko, but he was training on his own. You know, he's doing fitness work. I think they've got their eyes on Manchester United when it comes to him, and they just didn't want to take any risks with him today. I mean, he was close to making it for the weekend game against Fulham. He had a fitness test before that, and now he's been training. So it doesn't sound like it's a bad one for him at all. I think they're just probably a little bit of precaution ahead of the Manchester United game. $5-0 Arsenal, didn't see who that was. That's a bold prediction. I'd take that today. I'd take 1-0, to be honest. If you're interested, there's Villa over there doing their warm-ups in front of the away fans. Why not Fabio instead of Lokonga? Asked Ahmed. Well, I'm guessing that he's not even made his senior debut yet, and they probably want to ease him in a little bit rather than chuck him straight into the starting 11. So, I think that go with a little bit more tried and tested in Sambi, at least someone who has played in the Premier League before. Nuka King says, I hope we win. Going to be a hard game. I mean, it's always a hard game here against Villa. Villa have got a really good record at the Emirates. I think only Chelsea have won more games here than Villa. It's weird. Bucci says, why not Ben White as holding midfielder? I mean, it is an option. You could do that, play Tomiyasu at right back, bring in Ben White as holding midfielder, but do you really want to do that? I remember when Unai Emery started doing that, he played David Luiz there towards the end in one game, and then David Luiz got injured before half-time, but I don't know, it just reeks of desperation a little bit when you move a centre-back, a defender into midfield role. Zed asking, the transfer window suspense is killing me. Tell me about it. I can't wait for it to be over, Zed. People go absolutely mad these last few days of the window. You think, honestly, the reaction on social media today to anything that you put on there, it makes you feel like Arsenal have lost all 4 games this season rather than won all 4 and are sitting top of the table with maximum points. Everyone just goes a little bit mad towards the end of the transfer window. I think we all want to see Arsenal potentially add some players to their squad, but you'd think they're in crisis mode the way people are talking on social media at the moment. Window closes tomorrow at 11 p.m. Yeah, Tezzy, I was just thinking that. 2 ex-goalies in consecutive games. Hopefully Martinez has a similar afternoon to Leno. Canzilla says announce Neto in a midfielder. I don't think I'm going to be doing that, unfortunately. Realistic Gooner with Smith Rowe feel attack concerned. Yeah, we were talking about him just now in the press room. I think he probably would if Arsenal, if it was like last season and Arsenal didn't have Europa League, but Smith Rowe's going to get a lot of game time at the moment. He's just got to bide his time. You look, this time last season, Gabriel Martinelli wasn't getting a look in, and everyone was saying, "Oh, will Martinelli be worried? Mikel doesn't rate him," and that was because of the form of Smith Rowe, and it's flipped on its head a little bit now. But if Martinelli gets injured, then it's down to Smith Rowe to force his way back into the team, and if he does that, and then you've got to try and stay there by performing well. So you want decent players in all positions fighting for competition. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be a little bit worried about it, but you're a big club like Arsenal, you're a young player, you can't be demanding to start every game. You've got to earn your spot. How would you rate the window out of 10 if no changes happen? I think the window's done well. I think it's just I think everyone's just got bored the fact that Arsenal haven't signed anyone for a while. I think the window shut just after Zinchenko signed, everyone will be very happy, I think. But I just think a lot of people just want new signings all the time, and I think it's just been such a long time. It feels like such a long time since Zinchenko signed, but you look at the work they've done. Look, I absolutely am in the same boat as most people. I think at least one new signing would be good. You obviously want the squad as strong as possible, but if it doesn't happen, I still think they've had a good window. They've signed 2 players who have absolutely immediately improved the starting 11. I know Saliba's not a new signing, but he's a new player who improves the starting 11, and you've got Vieira, a £30 million player who we all seem to have forgotten about a little bit just because we haven't seen him, but he's by all accounts a very, very talented young player. So I'd rate it at 7 maybe so far, just because of the improvement it's made to the starting 11, but obviously you need a bit of luck to that as well. You need injuries to go your way. I think they need another midfielder. I think they need another midfielder and a winger, but I think it's asking a lot for that to happen. Fortunately for Arsenal, they're just so terrible at selling players, and that's just hampering them a little bit because they're not bringing any money in. If they'd have brought in some money for some players, they'd be in a better position to really push the boat out now and try and sign some more, but they're so awful at selling that I think it's costing them. Nutty King says, what do you think of Mudryk? I've only seen him a couple of times. I think he's great. When I've seen him, he's immediately stood out and he's looked great. But I've only seen him twice, so I can't pretend to be an expert on him. And I also know that he's best on the left-hand side, and Arsenal aren't looking for a left-sided player, they're looking for a right-sided player. So, yeah. I think it'd be a great signing for Brentford if they pull it off. But he is untested and untried as well. Yes, he looks good when you've seen him in clips, but we don't know how good he is really until he gets to the Premier League. Mo's only got a year left, yes, but he's got an option. The club have an option to extend that for a further year, so he could have 2 years left. We're not terrible at buying players. We're not terrible at buying players now. I don't know how you can say that, players. I think last year some transfer windows have been very good at buying players, and they were terrible at buying players, but they've certainly seemed to have sorted that out the last few windows, and I really like the transfer strategy they've got now. And hopefully that will make selling players easier, because they're going to have younger, talented players rather than older players whose careers go in one way and are on high wages, make it hard to sell. Right, here we go. The players are starting to walk over now, so we should get a bit of a look at how maybe they're going to set up in the team. We bought no one. Is that Pablo Escobar? We bought no one. I'm not quite sure that's true. 45 million on Jesus, 30 million on Tielemans, 30 million on Zinchenko, 30 million on Vieira. It's not no one. It's over £100 million. on top of 150 odd million pounds last summer. So from that, what we're looking at here, sort of Sambi's lining up on the right of a midfield two with Xhaka on the left. Oh, nice finish, Granit. Someone asking, is Tielemans the best option or the right option? Well, I don't think he's a bad option, put it that way. I think he's a very good player. And if I were Arsenal, I'd be signing him tomorrow, I know that. Whether they do, I just don't know. The messages we're getting told at the moment is not to expect anything, but I remember being here the night before Arsenal signed Thomas Partey. There was a game that night, and again, the messages we were getting was that they're not going to do anything, and then they went and signed Thomas Partey for 45 million, so you never say never, never say never. Certainly do with Saka having a big game today. You kind of feel like he needs it at the moment. I don't think he started the season badly, Saka, but not quite hit the heights that we've come to expect from him. Needs a decent game today, I think. Not least because he's in my fantasy team. People asking if the Emirates has Wi-Fi. Yes, it does. This is the Wi-Fi I'm on, unfortunately, but it's as good as it gets. As good as it's going to get, unfortunately, at the moment. Yes, I'm refusing to drop Saka for my team as well. Although I've been very tempted. Swap Martinelli for Saka and get some money in. Granit Xhaka nearly hitting the corner flag there from 6 yards. Don't do that in the match, Granit. Mozart asking what if Lokonga does well. Well, hopefully he does do well. I like Sambi. I think Sambi's getting a lot of grief online, certainly. I think it's a bit unfair, to be honest. He was asked to do a job that is pretty difficult, like at the end of last season, replacing Thomas Partey in that holding role, just basically left on his own. I don't think Mikel did him any favours with that. I think in pre-season, when we saw Sambi, he was playing in a more advanced role, scored a couple of goals, looked decent on the ball. Good passer. I just don't think he's a proper out-and-out holding midfielder. I think he's more of a number 8. Alex, what was that? Hi, what did you say there? Hi Alex, do you think if Arsenal sign a midfielder ahead of it could block the route to the first team for Aziz or Patino. I don't think that's something for them to worry about, to be honest. I think if Aziz or Patino are good enough to make it to the first team, they will. I don't think you can worry about blocking their pathway. I think they've just got, if this is Arsenal, you can't wait for players to come through. They've got to be good enough to come through like Saka's been. See, my dad has just come in. I saw him. It's going to be so bad reception, but you can see him. He's right. He's under the tee all the way over there. You can't see him. It's obviously terrible reception. But I can see he's come in. And I saw him before the Fulham game. He came over and I had a drink with him just down in the concourse behind the press box. And he was wearing one of my old tops, the 1998 double winning top. And he said he found a big bag upstairs in his house of my old Arsenal tops, and he's going to wear a different one to every home game now. And I can see he's over there. He's wearing the 2006, the sort of red currant one from the last season at Highbury. I don't know who just said, who's that? Arsenal lose today, we sign someone, we win, we don't sign. Which one do you choose? Winning all day long. Honestly, I don't get it. I think people are so caught up in transfers. Maybe I'm getting old, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't get it. Why would that be a question? You just want Arsenal to win every game. Yes, Mauricio Elneny is injured. Hamstring injury. Go on, mate. Do you? Good man. Sorry, I'm just speaking to someone who's saying he watches me all the time. He's taking a photo. Who will be your man in the match? What, today? Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to go for Saka. I'm calling a big day for Saka today. Big night for Saka. Guy said we need more depth. Yeah, absolutely, Guy. I do, but I think every football fan wants that. Everyone says they would say you want more depth for the team. And I think Arsenal definitely a midfielder short and a winger short of having an absolutely bang-on squad. But I think every single team will say that. You're always one or two players short, aren't you? I think no matter how many good players you've got, you always could do it more. So, you know, if Arsenal don't sign anyone tomorrow, by the end of play tomorrow, I absolutely do not think it's crisis mode or anything like that. I still think they've got a good squad. Inaki Kana there shaking hands, the goalkeeping coach shaking hands with Emi Martinez as he walks down the tunnel. Hey Patrick from Atlanta, Georgia. Hope you're doing well, mate. Guy asked if Fabio Vieira Saka's backup. He might be. I mean, we don't know. When he played the under-21s the other day, he played right wing, so he's definitely an option. I think Fabio's a bit forgotten man, isn't he? Because we just don't know where Arteta's going to play him yet, because we haven't seen him. So, you know, that's a £30 million player you're talking about, or a player that Arsenal spent £30 million on anyway. We haven't actually got to see him yet to see if he's worth the money, but, you know, he's a very talented player by all accounts. Right, the warm-up's over now, guys. I'm going to head off because we got about 15 minutes to kick off. I've got to get myself sorted. So thank you very much for watching. As always, wherever you're watching this around the world, hope you enjoy the game. Fingers crossed we get 3 lovely points to talk about at the end of the game. Have a good one, everyone. Speak to you soon.